Coming up, policy analysts suggest government prioritizes utilizing oil and gas revenue to finance the nation's energy transition initiative.
This is a time we need to consider putting part of our petroleum revenues into investments in renewable energy technology.
Also, PIAC champions transparency and accountability as essential ingredients for effective management of the country's petroleum revenue.
In order to safeguard our petroleum revenue and ensure that it brings equitable economic and social benefits to all Ghanaians.
Plus, Bank of Ghana issues a stern warning to savings and loans companies, highlighting the risks associated with exceeding their operational boundaries.
A major challenge confronting the SDI sector is the mission drifts from their core business of mobilizing funds from small savers and offering credit facilities to micro borrowers.
I am Manu Afful. We'll bring you the details of our headlines and many other stories shortly. Thank you for staying. Straight to our first story. The spokesperson for the civil society organization in the extractive industry, Dr. Steve Mantiao, is calling on government to invest part of the country's petroleum revenue in renewable energy technologies. Dr. Mantiao expresses concern that the country has not prioritized expenditures in the renewable energy sector despite nearly a decade of oil production. He made these comments on the sidelines of the launch of the Public Interest and Accountability Committee Citizens' version of statutory reports on the management and use of petroleum revenues.
But for me, more importantly for government in terms of policy innovation is to begin to rethink the prioritization of petroleum revenue spending. This is a time we need to consider putting part of our petroleum revenues into investments in renewable energy technology so that beyond the petroleum industry, we are able to sustain access to energy for our people. Access to renewable energy for me is something that benefits developing economies because beyond the initial investments, let's take for instance solar, beyond the initial investment there is no fuel cost and there is no heavy maintenance cost. The major cost you incur is washing the panels and making sure they are clean. What more beneficial could there be in terms of access to affordable energy for our people?
That was Dr. Steve Mantiao, a policy analyst. Meanwhile, the Public Interest and Accountability Committee has emphasized transparency and accountability remain critical to ensure prudent financial management, especially for an impactful sector like the petroleum industry. Chairperson of PIAC, Emerita Professor Elizabeth, noted that Citizens' version of the committee's report presents information on petroleum revenue management in a simplified and accessible format.
We need to consistently follow the trends in the petroleum sector. We need to follow it in order to safeguard our petroleum revenue and ensure that it brings equitable economic and social benefits to all Ghanaians. According to the PRMA Act 815 of 2011, which most of you know, mandate PIAC, and here I quote, to provide space and platform for the public to debate on whether spending prospects and management and use of revenues conform to development priorities as provided under Section 21, unquote.
You heard Emerita Professor Elizabeth Adefio Shandorf, who is the chairperson of PIAC. In more stories, Director of Banking Supervision at the Bank of Ghana has warned savings and loans companies against engaging in activities exceeding their authorized scope. Osei urged savings and loans companies to adhere to their designated mandates. He expressed concern that exceeding their mandates could hinder the national financial inclusion agenda. Become a major backbone in the sustenance of SMEs in Ghana. The inability of SMEs to meet the credit requirements of the formal banking sector provides an avenue for savings and loans companies to fill the gap. Nonetheless, some of these institutions sometimes go beyond their mandates, posing significant risks to the firms and the national financial inclusion agenda.
A major challenge confronting the SDI sector is the mission drifts from their core business of mobilizing funds from small savers and offering credit facilities to micro borrowers. They drift and engage in big-ticket deals and transactions. This has undermined the main goal of SDI concept as a catalyst to promote the national financial inclusion agenda.
Director of Banking Supervision of the Central Bank, speaking at the launch of BRAC Savings and Loans, called for proper corporate governance in curbing the menace.
Savings and loans are licensed to largely serve the financial needs of the semi-formal and informal sectors. The sector plays a major role in the provision of financial services to the population. Given the overall importance of savings and loans to the economy and the level of trust customers place in them, a slip-up in confidence could generate huge contagion effects and trigger runs on the SDIs with disruptive consequences for the economy. Thus, the need for formal regulations and proper governance and risk management practices.
That was a 3 Business report on the Director of Banking Supervision expressing concerns about savings and loans companies exceeding their mandates and hindering national financial inclusion agenda. Now take a listen to how the cedi is faring against major trading currencies and how some of our key commodities are faring on the global market.
On the interbank foreign exchange market, where banks trade amongst themselves, the dollar is selling at 12 cedis 9 pesos. It gained a peso. The British pound also gained 8 pesos and it is selling at 15 cedis 21 pesos. The euro is selling at 12 cedis 99 pesos. It gained 3 pesos. However, be guided that these figures will be higher at a forex bureau near you. On the global commodities market, Brent crude oil is up by 0.77%, selling now at about $79 per barrel, while the price of an ounce of gold is up by 0.56%, selling at about $2,037. Price of cocoa is up by 0.60%, selling at $5,220 per ton.
That was an update from the Forex and Commodities markets. Ending business news on Sunrise. For more business stories, please check out our website, 3news.com. My name is Manu Afful. Do stay tuned. Sunrise continues.
Accra gets busy on this frequency. 90